Hello students, welcome to Shri classes. Continue with lecture number 5, control and coordination in plants. In my last class we saw growth dependent and growth independent movements. So growth dependent movements are called tropic movements and growth independent movements are called nastic movements. So in these two category, nastic and tropic movements, we have different categories under tropic movements, but nastic movement we'll study as it is only one particular type of movement. That will proceed. Okay. So first, once again, I'll display the classification here. Let's see. The movements classified. The movements, plant movements are classified as nastic and tropic. Already these things I have discussed. So under tropic movements, once again we have how many types? 5 types. Phototropism, Geotropism, Chemotropism, Hydrotropism and Thigmotropism. So tropism refers to the response of a plant for a particular stimulus. As the name suggests, photo means the response of a plant for, photo means light. The response of a plant for a light is called phototropism. The movement shown by the plant for the stimulus light is a phototropism. The plant movement with respect to the stimulus Earth's gravitational pull or gravity is called geotropism. Chemotropism, plant movements or tropism due to chemical stimulus is a chemotropism. Hydrotropism, tropism due to water. Stimulus here is water. And similarly, thigmotropism, tropism due to touch. So plant movements due to touch. Touch is the stimulus here. So these are the different types which I am going to study now. And here itself I would like to make one point very clear. Nastic movements, electrochemical communication is involved, whereas all these tropic movements are slow and growth related. When the question of growth related comes into picture, definitely the movements are controlled by the growth of a particular region of a plant, and the responsible elements for the growth are chemical messengers called plant hormones. So please remember, all these tropic movements are shown by plant hormones. So plant hormones are responsible mainly for control and coordination in plants. Plant hormones are responsible. We are going to study in one of the slides, probably that is the last slide, which talks about the different types of plant hormones and their functions. Okay, please remember, tropic movements are slow movements in response to a particular stimulus, growth related movements that takes place due to plant hormones, whereas nastic movements are growth independent. Communication between the cells is by means of electrochemical signal, and movement is basically shown by the leaves due to change in size and shape of a cell, and that is also by means of entry of water and exit of water. These things you have to remember. Okay, and in further slides, from this slide onwards, you make us notes, make solid notes. Notes appear to be quite voluminous, but remember, equally the rate of reading notes is 3 times the rate at which you read the textbook chapter. That means the rate of reading notes is much faster, and hence my request would be to make a very good notes out of this. Many of you simply watch the videos and do not make the notes, and it is going to hit back you really very well. It is going to hit back you. Even light which I saw the test and all, some of you, I know some of you are very reluctant to write the notes and all. For you people, despite reading textbook many times, many chapters many times, it will be very difficult for you to cope up with the studies. So for my request for all of you is, make a good notes. The rate of reading notes is 3 times the rate of reading the chapter, and therefore the one who makes the notes, the one who loves his or her notes is the only one to excel. Continue. Fine. Note down this classification. Yeah. Movements in plants. Why do plants show movements? They show movements as a response to a stimulus. Which are the stimuli? Light, touch, gravitational force, chemical substance, water, and other stimulus. Based on the particular stimulus and the growth shown by the plant, the movements have been classified into nastic and tropic movements. Nastic movements are growth independent and tropic movements are growth dependent, which I have already discussed. Also, there is one important thing: plants have neither nervous system nor muscles for the control and coordination, whereas animals do have both. And how do plants control and coordinate their movements? In the form of nastic and tropic movements. Okay, tropic movements are due to plant hormones. So we are going to study the tropic movements first, and what are the plant hormones that are responsible for the tropic movements. Okay, fine. So nastic movement defined like this: it is a growth independent of the stimulus and non-directional, whereas tropic movements are growth dependent due to hormones, and those are directional. So direction can be towards the stimulus or away from the stimulus. And before we look into these 3 points, here, what is tropism? Tropism refers to movement of the plants in response to the stimulus. Please remember, tropic movements or the tropism shown by the plant refers to the movement of the plants in response to the stimulus. That is what it is. Okay. So tropic movements are dependent on the stimulus. Growth is towards either it is towards the stimulus or away from the stimulus. If the growth is towards the stimulus, it is called positive tropism. If the growth is away from the stimulus, then it is called negative tropism. Okay. So out of this, the first part is written here: nastic movement. Plant's immediate response to the stimulus is the Chemotropism plant, and it shows nastic movement. A few important points here. They use electrochemical means for communicating from cell to cell. What communication here? The communication of touch. So the communication of touch is transferred to different parts of the plant by means of electrochemical signal from cell to cell. Do you understand? That is how it is. That is one point. And another point: how do plant cells change the shape? Why the drooping and folding of the leaves occur? That occur due to change in shape of a cell. How do cells change their shapes? Cells change their shape due to entry or exit of water into them. If water enters into a cell swells. If water exits, then it shrinks, and therefore change in shape is governed by entry of water and exit of water, and that leads to the movement of the cells, indirectly movement of collective cells, indirectly the movement of the leaves. So this is how it is written here. Few points. I suggest you note down all these things. Example for a nastic movement is given: Mimosa pudica, or it is also called a sensitive plant, or it is also called touch me not plant. Okay, these 3 points are important. They use electrochemical means to convey information from cell to cell. Plant cells change shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in swelling or shrinking, and thereby changing the shape. And this causes folding up or drooping of leaves of the Mimosa pudica plant. Very clear? So note down this information. And also एक बार का क्वेश्चन आ सकता है आपको: what is tropism? Very important. See here, tropism refers to the tropic movement. First of all, in that case, plants response to the stimuli. यहाँ पे एक कीवर्ड आपको ध्यान में लेना चाहता हूँ. See here, this keyword is slowly basically. So the plant's response to the stimulus or a stimuli slowly by growing in a particular direction, and that is called the tropism. Okay, इसका definition ध्यान दे दो and make sure that you know very well this definition. Is it clear? So some of these points are to be noted down, including the tropism part. Okay, fine. We'll go to the next slide now. Yes. Here we will see the first one under the title tropic movements. First one is phototropism. What is phototropism? Movement of a plant or part of the plant in response to the light is called a phototropism. When the light is coming from one side of the plant, auxin diffuses towards the shady side of the shoot. here I'll take this example here. This is a stem here. Light is coming from this side. Light is falling on this side of the stem, but opposite side of the stem has a shady region. Light comes, see here, I hope you are able to understand. If I hold like this, if this is a stem here, if this is a stem here, this light is falling on this part, on this part. What about this part? This part is called the shady region. Light is coming here and this part of the stem is lighted region. This part of the stem is shaded region. So here, from here to here, there is a plant hormone which is present in the stem called auxin. That auxin diffuses towards the shady part because it is light repellent. If there is a auxin chemical, if light falls on that, it will try to move towards the shady region. So what happens here, if this is a stem, light is falling, the auxin is a plant hormone present here that will diffuse towards the shady region and it causes the cell elongation. So the shady region is this part will try to grow much faster rate compared to this part. The moment this side grows faster and this is lesser, then definitely this will try to bend toward like this. This part will elongate, this part will remain same. The moment it elongates, it tries to bend towards the light. This is what the actual mechanism takes place. You got it? So when the light is coming from one side of the plant, auxin diffuses towards the shady region and the shady region stem part elongates and therefore the stem bends towards the light. I hope you are able to understand. So this concentration of auxin on one side stimulates the cell to grow longer on the side of the shoot which is away from the light, thus plant bends towards the light. That means mainly आपको इतना मालूम होना चाहिए, if the light is coming from here, this side, this side of the stem is a shady region, lighted region. This side of the stem is shady region. Auxin is a chemical that is a plant hormone which is responsible for the cell elongation or a growth. So this side of the stem there is no growth. This side of the stem there is a growth. The moment this side grows faster, definitely it will try to grow like this. This will remain as it is. This will try to grow. This side elongates, this side remains same, means it will try to bend this way. It will try to bend this way. And that's how the shoot or part of the shoot bends towards the light. Okay. Now, there are two types here, positive phototropism, negative phototropism. Shoots that grow towards the light shows positive phototropism. So, which part of the plant shows positive phototropism? The shoot part shows the positive phototropism. What about the roots? Roots generally they grow away from the light and therefore roots growing away from the light, it is called a negative phototropism. And what is the stimulus here? Light is a stimulus. So growth of stem in the direction of the light is positive phototropism and growth of roots away from the light is called negative phototropism of the roots. Okay, simple, not much difficult to understand. Only thing ये जो paragraph है, concentration of the auxin increases on the shaded region, that is responsible for the growth of the cell and also the growth of the stem in the shaded region. So the growth of the stem in the shaded region makes the stem to take a turn towards the light. Okay, so note down all these things. We have seen. I hope you have understood what is phototropism. Next, geotropism. Movement of the plants towards the stimulus called gravitational pull of the earth is called geotropism. So growth of the plant, or you can also say something like this: tropism shown by the plant towards the gravitational pull or away from the gravitational pull is called a geotropism. Tropism refers to slow growth of the plant towards or away from the stimulus, we can say. So what is geotropism? Upward, this is the best way to put whatever I said, than that the best way to put the definition of geotropism this way: upward and downward growth of shoots and roots in response to the pull of earth or gravity is called geotropism. Upward growth of shoots and downward growth of roots in response to the pull of the earth or gravity is called geotropism. Is further better than this what I have written. Okay, that's fine. So, and here what is the mechanism? वो सब नहीं चाहिए. This much is given in your textbook. I think it is better to understand this much only. What is that makes responsible for growing this away from the pull towards the pull? All those mechanisms are not required. Simple definition, and you have to identify what is positive tropism and negative tropism. That's all. So what is positive geotropism here? The roots growing towards the direction of the stimulus, that is gravitational force, is positive geotropism. That means roots show positive geotropism, shoots show negative geotropism, because gravitational pull is downwards, roots grow towards the gravitational force, and the shoots grow away from the gravitational force. Hence, positive geotropism is shown by roots and negative geotropism is shown by shoots. This is the example over here. What happens here? You can see the roots which are going downwards. Okay, so negative geotropism and positive geotropism. Clear? Note down this content. Next comes hydrotropism. Movement of a plant or a part of a plant in response to water is called hydrotropism. Positive hydrotropism, roots which grow towards the water is called positive hydrotropism. Negative hydrotropism, shoots which grow away from the water is called negative hydrotropism. Generally, you must have seen this in the underground sump and all. You must have observed, or probably you must have heard also, the roots will penetrate through the walls of the underground sump and they enter towards the water present inside the tank. Even though it is a concrete walls, the roots will be able to penetrate through the concrete walls, that is in search of water. Therefore, we say the roots show positive hydrotropism. That means the roots will move towards the water. Water becomes a stimulus over here. See, without brain also, these plants are so intelligent, and we need to be more than that, isn't it? Good. So, understood what is hydrotropism, positive hydrotropism, negative hydrotropism. Next, chemotropism. The best example for chemotropism is the growth of pollen tube towards the ovule. Ovules contain sugar, basically glucose, and the growth of the pollen tube towards that is because of the attraction towards the sweet, and therefore chemotropism is shown by the growth of the pollen tube. Here there is a stigma and a pollen tube develops. What is this pollen tube? Basically, finally the anthers or the male gametes will pass through this pollen tube and reach the ovary present in the ovules. You got it? So, for the movement of the male gametes to mate with or fuse with the eggs, a pollen tube is to be developed, and that pollen tube growth is due to chemotropism, because ovule contains a sugar substance, a glucose, and the growth of the pollen tube is towards the sweet or towards the sugar. So, chemotropism, movement of a part of a plant in response to chemical stimulus, growth of pollen tube towards the ovules is the one. Negative, इसमें कुछ negative कुछ नहीं है इसमें. This is a positive chemotropism, you can say, isn't it? So if you find out any negative chemotropism here or any example, please let me know. I would like to include in my PPT. Okay. Next, thigmotropism. Here you can see the tendrils which are clinging on to the support. Why do these tendrils cling on to the supports? Because they sense the touch, and if that object is strong enough to withstand its own weight, then it will start clinging onto that one. It is so intelligent. Plants are so intelligent. Put a small thread or some loosely bound wires and all, it will never cling and it will never climb over there. Therefore, the tendrils will climb only onto very rigid supports. That is also there. I mean, that plays a role there. Without brainless creatures, how these behave so nicely. So, what is thigmotropism? Tropism shown by the plant or part of the plant in response to touch is called a Thigmotropism, and examples clinging of tendrils onto the supports. So note down all these things. So I think this is the end of the lecture. Let me check up. No, this is not the end. We have to study one more thing. I have written end here, it is not the end. Okay, because these movements which we saw, कौन बोलेगा वो रूट्स को कि वहाँ पे पानी है तुम जाओ, and it will start growing that. Who will instruct that there is a light here, you grow towards that light? Why light is required? You know already, photosynthesis is one of the important functions of a plant, and those are autotrophs. So who is coordinating inside the plant ki Baba, you grow towards that, you grow towards this, you grow towards that, I will grow towards this, you grow towards that? Is it not control and coordination? Definitely it is a control and coordination in a plant. Plants different regions respond to different stimuli and they do their functions of growth, etc., and thereby they amongst themselves coordinate. If the root doesn't grow towards the water, how leaves will be able to prepare the food? And therefore there exists a control and coordination. Control in terms of kitna growth hona chahiye roots mein, isn't it? And coordination, food is to be prepared in the leaves, water is required, and therefore root thinks I have to grow now, I have to catch the water and supply the water to that one, isn't it? So definitely there is a control and coordination which is taking place in the plants based on these tropic movements. We can confirm very well. Now a question comes, what is that is making this growth related movements? All these are growth related movements. What is that is making growth inside the plants? There are few types of plant hormones which are present in the stems, buds, roots, fruits, seeds, etc., and those are responsible for a particular growth and development of a specific region of plant, and those are called phytohormones or plant hormones, is what we are going to study the next. Yeah, here you can see plant hormones or phytohormones. Different plant hormones help coordinate growth, development and responses in the environment, or responses to the environment is a better word, isn't it? So plant hormones are responsible for controlling and coordinating the growth towards the stimulus. These are synthesized at places away from where they act. See, auxin is generated somewhere else, but it diffuses towards the shady region, meaning the point of generation is different from the point at which these hormones act, and therefore there exists a movement of these chemical messengers called hormones. They move from one region to another region. Those hormones are present everywhere in the plant, and a particular target organ will also be there. For example, ripening of a fruit, auxin will not play in ripening of a fruit, but something is called ethylene. It is an hormone that promotes the ripening of the fruits. See here, that means different hormones have different functions. So those are synthesized at places away from the points where these hormones act for a growth of a particular region, specific region. Plants have only specific regions in which the cells will be continuously dividing. You understand? For example, cork or the epidermis, it will reach a particular size, shape and a continuous layer at the bottom of the tree, and it will never grow. You understand? So whereas the leaves on the aerial parts of the plants will be continuously growing. That means cells there will be continuously dividing. The cork, which protects the tree from all cold weather, temperature, fungus infections, viruses, etc., that is very sturdy. It has achieved maturity and state of maturity, a particular size, shape and function, and it's a dead cell. Okay, that's what. So thing is, these hormones are synthesized at a particular place and they move towards a particular region and act there in terms of growth. So what are the different types of plant hormones? Based on the control and coordination in plants, we find these are 1, 2, 3, 4 are the main hormones given in your textbook chapter, but we are adding ethylene. because most of the teachers in your schools add ethylene and hence it is added. Otherwise, auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins and abscisic acid, ABA, which is called, never write only short forms. Ensure that you write full forms. Abscisic acid. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins and abscisic acid. These are the main plant hormones. We have added ethylene one more. Okay. So with respect to functions, different textbook, different reference books discuss different things. I am sticking to exactly the textbook explanation which is given, because if I read the reference books, I will not be able to answer the questions given in the CBSE board exam. Do you understand? Because answers will be found in the marking scheme. You understand? You can find the answers for all the questions board papers in the marking scheme, and a marking scheme is prepared based on your textbook chapter. And therefore, see here the different hormones, what are their functions. Those functions I am sticking to your textbook explanation only. Minimum you should know. Apart from, if you know something else, it is absolutely fine. But while writing the answers also, ensure that the textbook answers take the priority than whatever that you know additional information in the form of gathered from your teachers or gathered from the internet, because marking scheme directly refers to the textbook. I hope you are understanding the importance of NCERT textbook reading and the contents of which matter a lot in terms of getting the marks in exams. Okay, so there are auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin and abscisic acid. 4 functions we'll see. Finally, you can look at this. See here, auxin, basically it is responsible for cell elongation and cell growth. अगर reference book लिया तो it will list down nearly 6-7 functions. But simple thing, after reading 6-7 points also, what is the plant hormone that is responsible for cell elongation करके question आएगा, you people will not be able to answer that unless you have read this very clearly. Auxin, even though it is responsible for many growth of the plants and shoots and tips of the roots and tips of the shoots, I stick to this point. Cell elongation and cell growth is controlled by auxin. Cell elongation. See, why plants turn towards the light? The cells on the shady region where the concentration of the auxin hormone is more, that cell elongates and thereby increases the length of the stem on the shady region. And therefore, when the shady region elongates longer, naturally it will take a turn and it will bend towards it appears that the shoot is bending towards the light. And therefore, here auxins, those are present in the growth of the auxins, those are present at the shoot tips and also root tips of the plants. And what is their function? It is responsible, or auxins regulate, stimulates भी लिख सकते हैं, but regulates cell elongation and cell growth. Whatever red में जो highlight किया हूँ वो textbook का description है. Next, gibberellin, growth of stem elongation. अभी क्वेश्चन आएगा, डाउट आएगा, वो ऑक्सिन साला वहां जाता है और सेल एलोंगेट करता है, स्टेम ग्रोथ के लिए गिबरेलिन भी पॉसिबल है ना? यस, दिस इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंस. If you have a question in your NCERT textbook, what is that is responsible for cell elongation? Auxin is responsible for cell elongation. Gibberellin helps in the growth of the stem elongation and flowering. But when you look at the textbook explanation itself, in the phototropism, you read an activity. In that activity, he clearly mentions auxin is the one which diffuses from lighted region of the stem towards the shady region, and the shady region cells will start elongating, due to which the turn of the stem takes place. I don't know, I am highlighting so much on the textbook. आप लोग, some of you, see, I tell you, those who consistently score good marks are the only ones who stick to the textbook. Believe me, I mean, ठीक है, I hope you understand the importance of the textbook. Okay, auxins responsible for cell elongation and cell growth, and gibberellins is a particular thing. which helps in the growth of the stem and flowering. And cytokinin promotes cell division, is most important. इसके अलावा चाहे तो breaks dormancy in the seeds, promotes growth of the fruits, you can add. But first thing, cell division, cytokinin, cell elongation, auxin, stem elongation, gibberellin. ये ध्यान में रहना चाहिए. Next, also cytokinins, some couple of things I have written here. Breaks dormancy in the seeds and promotes growth of fruits. ये promotes growth of fruits की क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा, फिर भी आप लिख दीजिए. Breaks dormancy. What do you mean by dormancy? Temporary stoppage of growth of a particular part is called dormancy. With respect to seeds, the temporary stoppage of germination of the seeds is called the dormancy. What is the seed dormancy? Seed dormancy is defined as the state in which seeds are prevented from germinating. So, who promotes? आप लोगों को घर में वो गेहूं का दाल है या फिर गेहूं का ग्रेन है या फिर दाल है, जो भी आइटम्स है, grams are there, isn't it? Are they germinating when you keep it inside the bottle? Never, no. What is that makes them to prevent the dormancy? Or what is that is making that promotes the dormancy? Breaking of a dormancy is it is able to germinate. But what is that makes to promote the dormancy? Why the grains kept in your house are not sprouting? What is that is making them to stop that promoting the dormancy? What is that is promoting dormancy is abscisic acid. But cytokinins breaks the dormancy. The moment you take the grain inside a water, whenever they achieve the suitable temperature and all, it will start germinating. But as long as you stock it in your house, the grains, it will not be able to sprout. That means if it comes into contact with water, cytokinin plays. In the absence of water, abscisic acid plays a role there because it promotes the dormancy. Whereas cytokinins breaks the dormancy. Take a grain from your house and put into a water and the soil. It starts germinating because there is an auxin present in that. Which one? The grain, like moong dal and all, which promotes the cell division, breaks the dormancy in the seeds and promotes the growth of the fruits also. So cytokinin is the one which is responsible for cell division and breaks the dormancy. These are the important things which you should remember, and mainly cell division. बहुत important है cell division. Cytokinin cell division. Cytokinin cell division. ये क्वेश्चन आएगा. I will also be taking this question. Cytokinin cell division. वो क्वेश्चन आएगा टेस्ट में. Next, abscisic acid we'll see. It is a growth inhibitor. In simple terms, abscisic acid is a growth inhibitor and wilting of leaves. थोड़ा याद रखो भाई. Wilting of leaves is due to abscisic acid. So what are the functions? It inhibits growth, promotes dormancy, promotes closing of the stomatal pores and wilting of the leaves. All these are important functions given in your textbook. It inhibits the growth. It is also called a growth inhibitor and promotes the dormancy, promotes closing of the stomatal pores and wilting of the leaves is caused by abscisic acid. Once again, auxins, cell elongation and cell growth. Gibberellin, stem elongation. Cytokinin, cell division, promotes dormancy. And ethylene छोड़िए, abscisic acid, cytokinin breaks dormancy and cytokinin promotes the cell division, breaks cell dormancy of the seeds, and abscisic acid promotes the dormancy but inhibits the growth of the cell, wilting of the leaves, closing of the stomatal pores. All these are important functions. Finally, ethylene, as it is discussed in some of your schools, I have put one word here, promotes ripening of fruits. It depends where you can remember or not. That's the only thing. So these are the different plant hormones. Auxin, cell elongation, cell growth. Gibberellin, stem elongation. Cytokinin, cell division, breaks dormancy. Abscisic acid, growth inhibitor. Important, it's a growth inhibitor. Wilting of the leaves, closing of the stomatal pores, promotes dormancy. इसके लिए एब्सिसिक एसिड के लिए घर का जो भी वो गेहूँ जो भी है वो मूंग दाल वगैरह ऐसा ही है, नहीं तो एवरीथिंग विल स्प्राउट, isn't it? So these are the main functions of the plant hormones. Remember, these plant hormones are responsible for the control and coordination in terms of the movements of parts of the plants in response to the stimuli. Okay, so A, not required. These diagrams are read it, not required. I don't prescribe this. These are the things here. I think we have completed this chapter. In all respects, I have completed this chapter. I'll be taking up question answers from your textbook also, and few selected question answers will be looked into from exemplar also. And in the exemplar, if you can refer to the answers given in the exemplar book, that makes really a good sense. Generally, when you refer exemplar books, make sure that you refer to the answers given at the end of the textbook, and those are very important. That plays a role in terms of construction and phrasing of the words and all, construction of the sentences and phrasing of the words. Okay, fine. We have completed this chapter, control and coordination, and while going through the question answers, if any important point is there, that will be highlighted. Okay, so make a good notes of all these PPTs and preserve it, place it at one particular section of the notebook. Okay, fine. Thank you for watching and see you in the next lecture.